Good morning, everyone. Today we're looking at systems of inequalities, and the question is, why was the student afraid of the y-intercept? And our directions are to graph each of the systems of inequalities. The letter that is in the solution area of the system is the letter that matches that problem. So we're trying to figure out this why she was afraid, and we're going to put the letters for each of our answers into this little puzzle here. So it says use that letter and the question number to then solve the riddle. Okay, so for our first point, or for our first inequality, we have 2 points. And if you don't have a calculator, just use desmos.com. Notice how I have the slope-intercept formed on the screen too. And that's what we want to have each of our inequalities in before we put them in Desmos or in our graphing calculators. So for future example problems like number 3, we're going to have to convert this from standard form, ax plus by is equal to c, into slope-intercept form, So okay, our 2 points for our first inequality are 0, 2. So when x is 0, y is 2, and negative 1, negative 1. So it is y is greater than, so we're going to have a dashed line. And if you're worried about shading and where to shade, just think about the y values and how it said they will be. It said the y values will be greater than 3x plus 2. So we want every y value that's greater than. See how it goes from 2 to 3, 4, 5. The y values get bigger. So that means we're going to shade in this direction. And if you're a bit confused, don't worry, we have plenty of other examples to look at. So our second line is y is less than negative 4x minus 5. So 2 points are 0, negative 5, and also negative 1, negative 1. So these two inequalities intersect at negative 1, negative 1, and we'll see where their shadings will intersect as well. So it's y is less than, so we're going to have a dashed line. And we want y values that are less than this inequality. So less than will be from negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. These are less than negative 5. So we're going to go ahead and shade under right there. And we see that our answer for this first question is T, because it lies in our intersection of the two shaded regions. So we're going to put T right here where number 2 is. All right. Oh, excuse me, where number 1 is. I'm sorry. All right, let me change that. All right, T, right where number 1 is. So there we go. Okay, let's try number 2. 2 good points for this one are, for the first one, y is less than or equal to 3x minus 5. We have 1, negative 2. So x is 1, y is negative 2. And 2, 1. So x is 2, y is 1. It is y is less than or equal to, so we're going to have a solid line. And since its y is less than or equal to, we want y values that are less than negative 5. So less than would be like negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, etc. So we're going to shade in this direction. Okay. Why don't you try to graph the second inequality? I'll give you a few seconds. Just pause the video if you need to, and we'll see what you got. Try to shade it too. Okay, so 2 good points are 1, 1. So x is 1, y is 1. and 2, 0. So x is 2, y is 0. Okay. It is y is less than, so it's going to be a dashed line. And since it's y is less than, we want y values less than 2. So like 1, 0, -1. So we're going to shade in this direction. So we see that B lies in the between our two shaded regions. So B is our answer for number 2. It lies in the intersection. Okay. Okay, so like I said earlier, we're going to have to convert this first inequality into slope-intercept form. So our first step in doing that is to subtract 2x from both sides. So that gives us 3y is less than -2x plus 6. To get the y by itself, we have to divide every term by 3. So 3y divided by 3 is just y, which is less than -2 over 3x, -2 over 3x. Then 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put this in our graphing calculators or in Desmos. And once you do that, you'll see that 2 good points are 0, 2, x is 0, y is 2, and 3, 0, x is 3, y is 0. It is y is less than, so we're going to have a dashed line. Since it's less than, we want y values that are less than 2. So less than 2, so 1, 0, -1, it's going to be in this direction. Okay. So our second inequality is already in y equals mx plus b. It's already in slope-intercept form. So we have part of that already done. We just have to put it in our graphing calculators or Desmos to get 2 good points, which are 0, -2, and 1, 0. Don't be worried if you have different points than I do. I just found 2 points that didn't have decimals in them. So since it's y is less than, we're going to have a dashed line. And we want y values that are less than -2. So less than will be like -3, -4, -10. So we want to go in this direction. And we see that n lies in the intersection of our shaded regions. So n is our answer for number 3. Okay, try number 4 on your own. Okay, so the first thing we have to do for our first inequality is isolate our y, or get the y by itself. So to do that, we have to divide every side by -2 because -2 is multiplied by y. So we have to the opposite of multiplication is division. So we have -2y is less than 5x minus 4. Divide everything by -2. And that gives us -2y divided by -2 is just y. Our inequality sign flips because it flips when you divide by a negative number. So it's going to be y is greater than. And 5 divided by -2 is -5 over 2x. -5 over 2x. And -4 divided by -2 is positive 2, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So, 2 good points for this inequality are negative 2, 7, so x is negative 2, y is 7, and 0, 2. It is y is greater than, so we're going to have a dashed line. Okay, so greater than is going to be y value is greater than 2, right? So we want things like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's in this direction. So we're going to shade over here. Okay. So now our second inequality, all we have to do to get y by itself is subtract x from both sides. So when we do that, we have y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 6. Notice how I kept it in slope-intercept form. Okay, so 2 good points for this inequality are 0, 6. So x is 0, y is 6, and 1, 5. X is 1, y is 5. It is y is greater than or equal to, so it's going to be a solid line. Okay, and greater than or equal to means we want y values that are greater than 6. So y values like 7, 8, 9, 10. That's in this direction, so we're going to shade in this direction. Therefore, our answer for number 4 is y. Okay. Try number 5 on your own too. Okay. So we have to do a few more things this time. And remember, we want to have our inequalities in slope-intercept form. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract 6 from both sides to get 5x minus 6 is greater than or equal to negative 2y. At least now we have our y. Even though it's with a number, our y isn't being added or subtracted by x or something else. So now I want my y on the other side. I want it on my left side. So these two, the negative 2y and the 5x minus 6, are going to switch sides. So when you switch sides, your inequality sign flips too. So we have negative 2y is less than or equal to 5x minus 6. Okay, so now all we have to do is divide every side by negative 2. And when we do that, we'll see that we have negative 2y divided by negative 2, which is just y, is greater than or equal to, our sign flips because we divide it by a negative number, negative 5 over 2x. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is positive 3. Okay, so 2 good points for this one are negative 2, 8, negative 2, and then y is 8, and 0, 3. X is 0, y is 3. It is y is greater than or equal to, so we're going to have a solid line. Greater than or equal to means we want y values greater than 3. So y values like 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, that's in this direction. Okay, so for our second inequality, and I'm going to erase the work for this inequality to make room for this second one right here, but if you need it, just rewind the video. Okay. So our first step, we have 2x minus y is greater than or equal to 5, right? Well, the first thing we're going to do is subtract 2x from both sides. Then we're going to have the negative y by itself. So we have negative y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 5. Then we're going to divide every term by negative 1 because negative y divided by negative 1 is positive y, and negative divided by a negative is a positive. So we have y is less than or equal to positive 2x minus 5. Notice our sign flipped because we divided by a negative number. Okay. So 2 good points for this are going to be 1, 3. 1, negative 3, I'm sorry. So x is 1, y is negative 3. All right. And 3, 1. X is 3, y is 1. And we do have y is less than or equal to 2x minus 5, so it's going to be a solid line. And less than is y values that are less than negative 5. So y values like negative 6, negative 10. That's in this direction. So S lies in the intersection of our shaded regions. So S is the answer for number 5. Okay. So for number 6, we have to have 3x plus 2y is less than 4 in slope-intercept form. So our first step is to subtract 3x from both sides because the 3x is added to 2y. The opposite of addition is subtraction. So we have 2y is less than negative 3x plus 4. Notice how I'm keeping it in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to divide every side by 2, or every term by 2. And that's going to give us y is less than negative 3 over 2x plus 2. Okay. So 2 good points for this are negative 2, 5. So x is negative 2, y is 5. And 0, 2. X is 0, y is 2. Okay, not so bad. So it is y is less than, so we have to have a dashed line. And less than means we want y values less than 2. So less than 2 are y values like negative 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2. That's in this direction. Okay. So now we have to, for our second inequality, add x to both sides of the inequality because the x is subtracted from 3y. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So we have 3y is greater than x plus 9. Once again, see how I'm keeping it in slope-intercept form. So to get the y by itself, we have to divide every term by 3 because the opposite of multiplication is division. So we have y is greater than x over 3 plus 3. 2 good points for this inequality are going to be 0, 3, x is 0, y is 3, and 3, 4. So x is 3, y is 4. Okay. It is y is greater than, so we're going to have a dashed line. So like this. Greater than means that it's going to be like greater than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. So There we go. G lies in the intersection of our ketchup and mustard, or our two inequalities. So we have 6 is G. Okay, number 7. Same thing, really. We have to have it in our y equals mx plus b, our slope-intercept form. So we're going to first we're going to subtract 5x from both sides. The 5x is added to our negative 4y. And the opposite of addition is subtraction. So we have negative 4y is greater than or equal to negative 5x plus 4, have the x first, and then my b, mx plus b, is our slope-intercept form. So now we're going to divide every term by negative 4. Because we're multiplying our y by negative 4, the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to have divide by negative 4, negative 4, negative 4. And our answer is y is less than or equal to, our sign flips, 5 over 4x plus minus 1, because we have positive 4 divided by negative 4. So two good points are 0, negative 1. So x is 0, y is negative 1, and 4, 4. Its y is less than or equal to 5 over 4x minus 1. So that means we have a solid line. And we want y values that are less than negative 1. So less than negative 1 are y values like, less than or equal to negative 1. So like negative 2, negative 3, that's in this direction. For our second inequality, we're going to have to subtract both sides by 2x, because the 2x is added to our 3y, and the opposite of addition is subtraction. So we're going to just have 3y 3y, oh my, there we go, 3y is greater than negative 2x plus 9. Okay, so we got to divide every side by 3, because the 3 is multiplied to the y. So we're going to get y is greater than negative 2 over 3x plus 3. Two good points for this one are 0, negative 1. Or not 0, negative 1. That's for our first inequality. 0, 3. X is 0, y is 3. And 3, 1. So x is 3 right here, y is 1. All right. It is greater than, y is greater than, it's going to be a dashed line, therefore. And we want y values greater than 3. So y values like 4, 5, 6, in this direction. So we're going to shade up here. As you can see, U lies in the intersection. So U is our answer for number 7. So for our last problem, we have negative 2y is less than 10 plus 4x. The first thing we have to do is to divide every term by negative 2, because it's negative 2 times y. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to have y is greater than, our sign flips because we divided by a negative number, greater than negative 5 minus 2x. I am going to have my negative 2x and my negative 5 switch places, because I want to keep my inequality in slope-intercept form. So we're going to have y is greater than negative 2x minus 5. And two good points for this inequality are negative 2, negative 1, and 1, x is negative 1, negative 3. So x is negative 1, y is negative 3. It is y is greater than, so we're going to have a dashed line. Okay, by greater than, we mean we want y values greater than our y-intercept or negative 5. So that means y values like negative 4 or 0 or 1 or 6. So we're going to shade in this direction. Okay. And actually, I'm going to keep this inequality written down here because we're going to need it in just a second. So we're going to have, we have y is greater than negative 2x minus 5. All right. So I probably should have shaded in the same color too, so let me do that too. All right. There we go. Okay. For our second inequality, we're going to subtract 2x from both sides because 2x is added to y, and the opposite of multiplication, or excuse me, the opposite of addition is subtraction. So we have y is less than negative 2x plus 1. So two good points for this inequality are x is 0, y is 1, right here, and 1, negative 1. So x is 1, y is negative 1. Notice that these two inequalities have the exact same slope. So that means that the lines themselves are not going to intersect, but the shaded regions will overlap. So since its y is less than negative 2x plus 1, we're going to have a dashed line. And less than means y values that are less than our y-intercept, which is 1. So y values like negative 2, negative 3, that's in this direction. So we see that E lies in our shaded region. So E is the answer for our final question, or our final problem, which is number 8. And the answer is, why was the student afraid of the y-intercept? The question, she thought she'd be stung by the bee, by the y-intercept. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment them below, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.